So, I'm pregnant, about to have my baby. I'm 20 years old and a female. Well, my estranged mother is coming back into my life, saying she wants to be a part of my baby's life. I don't think I'm ready for that. Let's start from the beginning and I'll tell you exactly what led up to this crazy ending. My mother came out after my parents' divorce and started dating a friend of hers. I'm completely fine with my mother being lesbian. That's not the issue. The issue is that her partner and her were controlling and abusive all my adolescent life. My mother and I are on talking terms and have a friendship now. I worked hard to heal in order for our relationship to be where it's at. My brother moved out and into our another family member's home when he was 9 years old. I stayed out of the guilt until I was 16. I snapped after my mom's partner put her hands around my neck and tried to drag me to my room. All because my brother refused to take a picture with mom and I defended him. I believe in bodily autonomy. He should not have to do anything, especially with someone who abused him. All while mama just watched. I packed my stuff and never talked to them again until their wedding in 2019. My mom and I, in the past year, have become friends again. I'm pregnant with my first child, living on the opposite coast from my parents. I've been on my own for a while, obviously. I told my mom I was pregnant and told her not to tell anyone because I am still in my first trimester and was concerned I'd miscarry. She told her partner, whatever, but then my friend who lived in my hometown said, "Hey, your stepmom's telling people you're pregnant and that she's going to be a grandma. Is this true?" I laughed. I confronted my mother about the issue and my mom denies that her partner told anyone. She then went on a rant about how her partner was a parent to me and wants to be involved in her grandchild's life. She even requested I go back to counseling so I can forgive my stepmom. She also states that she has no idea why I left her home or why I don't talk to her partner. She also throws the fact that I occasionally text my father's wife right in my face. Well, she did not physically abuse me. To my mom, it's also expected that I'm the first to reach out to my stepmom. Alright, but here's the thing. I don't consider her a parent. I don't want her in my baby's life. I can't forgive her, but I am okay with my mom in my child's life. How do I tell my mom without absolutely crushing her and insulting her parenting, or is there no way I can go about this, besides to rip the band-aid off? On the other hand, should I be more open to the idea of having a relationship with her? I absolutely hate her guts, and even writing this is sending me into an anxiety attack. I just don't want to lose my mom again because of her wife. What's up guys, Mr. Reddito here. We're starting off the video with an emotional story. There is an update for this that we're going to hop into, but first, go ahead and click that subscribe button just so you know. It helps support the channel and you'll never miss an update that way. Click the notification bells and here's your update. So, about 3+ months ago, I posted on here asking for advice on my mother and her wife, whom have been married in my life for 13 years now. I just wanted to come back to say everyone was absolutely right. I had planned to tell my mom shortly after my OG post. Neither she or her wife would be involved in my child's life. Unfortunately, my partner and I had to make the really hard decision to move back to my hometown. We had to pack up and leave ASAP and could not find housing right away. My mom was trying really hard to mend our relationship, so I took her offer to stay in her home while we continued apartment hunting. My significant other was hopeful about it all and tried to reassure me that this would all work out. It did not. 2 days ago, I was cooking some dinner in the kitchen and significant other asked me if we could broil the salmon at the end so it'd be more golden. My mother called me out from another room, letting me know that their oven did not go above 400 degrees. The broiler would not work and it would set the fire alarm off. Confused, I said, "Oh, why?" I set it for 450 and didn't know. Her wife then started yelling and cussing at me, saying she did not freaking understand why I'm disrespecting her. I told her I was just about to turn it down, and she continued berating me. Significant other just smiled and awkward laughed. He was so confused why she was so angry over the oven that had not even began preheating yet. She began egging him on, trying to be aggressive, calling him out, saying we did not do anything around the house. She said he could suck a... Ugh, very nice. Just an FYI, we clean our room regularly, never go out to any other rooms, and I had just cleaned our bathroom. And we take up one cubby in the kitchen. We even deep clean the carpets because, well, they had cat pee and vomit on them. Actively, we're house searching and working. We know we aren't being rude guests, although we had not planned on staying so long since it's been 6 weeks. My mom said it was okay to stay with her however long we needed, though. Well, long story short, she kicked us out. All while my mom said absolutely freaking nothing, like always. Earlier that day, she was trying to plan my baby shower while we were going to our cars outside. My mom's wife tried to run straight into me and yelled at me to move. I felt like she wanted to physically retaliate because she was close to me for no reason. Of course I did not. I'm not insane. I'm 21 now and 5 months pregnant. Officially homeless and not sure how we're supposed to do this and prepare for a baby. At this point, I'm just grateful she did not put her hands on me again and that we stocked up on water right before. I should never have given it a chance, but we were desperate and times are hard with COVID and the housing crisis. Alright, please don't be rude to me. I've already been beating myself up how I should have known. Let this be a lesson to learn my life. The abusive person in question will continue to be abusive to you. Don't give them another chance. Small little mini update. My boyfriend just got us a place to stay in an Airbnb for the next 2 weeks. I've even got a call about a job interview for something that pays more hourly. Things are looking up. We're really hopeful that the apartment we just applied to will accept us. If not, we'll be moving cross-country again to rent from a family member with open properties. It seems like this was a good thing after all, even though it caused a lot of stress. I'm looking forward to no longer seeing my mother or her wife ever again. My mother's aware she'll never get to see me or her grandchild, as well as my teenage brother, but has chosen to continue supporting her wife. It's really shown me that her priorities truly have never been her children. Now that I've left her life, she has officially isolated herself from all her family and friends. I kind of think this was her wife's plan all along. Let's read the top comment for this story. Poor OP seemed to do a lot of mental gymnastics to place most if not all the blame on the stepmom. Mom might also be a victim of her wife, but when you step into that territory where you enable someone to mistreat others, especially your own damn kids, you blur a lot of lines and lose a lot of sympathy. I felt a sinking in my gut when I read what they had said and they had to stay there, and it was sadly justified. I hope OP sticks to staying away for as long as Mom stays with that enabler, her monstrous partner. Guys, I felt the exact same way. I was wondering, there's a very good chance that the mother of OP is actually being abused too, and she's in a very abusive relationship, and that's why she's acting this way. But let me know your thoughts about it, drop your comments down below, and share any life experiences you want that could possibly help out OP or her mom. Alright guys, we have one more story on the video today, and the title is, this is a long one, My Boyfriend Found Out About My Raise. Another nice story of a woman realizing that settling is never the option, and breaking it off with the abusive man-child she's been holding on to for 8 long years. This is one of the wildest stories that I've read in quite some time. Just thought I would say that before we jump into it. I'm 26 female and have been in a relationship with my boyfriend 26 for a long 8.5 years. When we got together, we had a long distance relationship for 4.5 years, then we started living together in his parents' house in 2016. Of course, I wasn't too happy about this, but he lost his job and I was in college, so we could not afford to live on our own. It's now 2020 and we still live at his parents' house, and he's not had a job in almost 4 years. Last year, I graduated college, and after months of being completely broke and struggling to find a job, I managed to land a paid internship. Afterwards, I was hired in January this year as a full-time employee. I was making more than I've ever made in my life, but I was still struggling because I had to support both of us single-handedly. But after 6 months working there, I received a hefty raise because of how much I've grown and how much of the hard work I've done. And I wasn't going to tell him about the raise because I planned to leave him. But found out today when my paycheck came in. I want to leave him because all I feel for him at this point is resentment. I resent him for the fact that he's not pulling his weight in the relationship, leaving me to take care of everything. Like I said, he has not held a job in 4 years, and in that 4 years, I struggled to keep us afloat while I was in college. He literally had a front row seat watching me stress out about school and money, but he did absolutely nothing about it. There were times where I needed his help, but again, he did nothing. He would somehow convince me to use my own school money to buy him things he did not even need, like expensive collectibles from his favorite franchises, video games, computers, etc., all while I was struggling to get the bills paid. One situation that I cannot let go of was when he asked me if he can build a new computer. Well, I recently broke my laptop and needed one for school, so I was shopping around for one. Then he offered me to use his gaming laptop I bought him 6 months prior. I was still mad about this purchase because he convinced me to buy it for him when he was already perfectly fine with his other PC. He also barely used it after I bought it. It was grateful he was letting me have his laptop, but he said he would give me the laptop only if I buy him parts to build a new PC. He said it would cost about the same as a laptop, so it would be a fair trade. How's it a fair trade if I'm the one who bought it? This is just one example of how his mind works. And to be honest, it's not like I can say no to him either. He acts like a total child if I don't get him what he wants. And he knows that guilt is my biggest weakness. I don't know if he's abusing it on purpose or not, but that's how he gets me to buy him everything he wants. And in the way, I do feel bad for him, because he has nothing, and when he reminds me of that, I just give in. Not only does he not have a job, but he doesn't have a car. Heck, he doesn't even have a license. So I have to drive him everywhere. So after having a long day at work and school, I can't even come home to relax. As soon as I get home, he makes me get back in the car again so he can get out of the house. It's like he doesn't even consider the fact that I also have an hour-plus commute to and from work. And you would think that having me support the both of us, he would at least be kissing my butt. Ha, nope. He treats me like his caretaker and a child at the same time. I literally have to retrieve everything for him. The TV remote, fill up his water bottle, etc. I have to put lotion on his feet every night. I have to rub his back until he falls asleep. And when I say no, he whines like a freaking child. Again, using my guilt against me to get what he wants. Today, he was talking about getting a new computer chair because his current one is a little tilted. I said, no, your chair's perfectly fine. He retorts, I want a better chair. That one was only $90 and it's already tilting a little, and I want one with lumbar support. It was literally like speaking to a child trying to get mommy to get him a new toy he doesn't need. And when I'm upset about something, he treats me like a baby and acts all silly to diffuse my anger rather than just dealing with it and talking it out with me. Which brings me to my next point. He takes absolutely no accountability for anything he says or does. I literally cannot call him out about anything. When I do, he gets incredibly defensive and makes any and all excuses to remove himself of any responsibility. One example I remember is when his dad called us out in the hallway and asked which one of us clogged the vacuum cleaner with dog food. My boyfriend said that he did it, but it wasn't his fault because his brother split the dog food all over the floor and did not pick it up. I know this isn't irrelevant to my situation, but I was absolutely astounded. It was his fault, but he immediately threw someone else under the bus, just to absolve himself after the blame, and he does this to me all the time. When he makes me mad, he turns it around and says it's my fault. And when I try to critique him in any way, he tells me that he did not ask for my input and immediately gets defensive. But yet, he sits there and nitpicks literally every single breath I take. Why did I not make the bed right? Why did I not do the dishes? Why did I not fold the clothes? I'm talking too loud. And when I tell him he's too loud, oh, no I'm not. His parents and I used to nag him about getting a job and starting his life, but he would get so violent and toxic. We don't even bring it up anymore, so we don't have to deal with his behavior. And it wasn't until recently I've noticed how controlling he is. Like when I need to take a shower, he tells me I don't need a shower, I smell fine. He wakes me up when he feels like it, and he tells me what I should wear. He tells me I should keep my hair short. I can't even have my own opinions, even with how food tastes. My sister actually brought this to my attention. She said she noticed it back when I graduated college. My family came to see me graduate, and we all went to dinner. My mom asked me how my food was. I said it wasn't very good. I did not enjoy it very much. My boyfriend immediately says to me without even tasting my food, "Oh, your food tastes fine." My parents and myself did not see that as a red flag, but boy did my sister see it as one. She herself has been in an abusive relationship and she knows the signs. And when she brought it up, it opened up my eyes. I could not have any opinions about anything. Music, video games, shows, politics, not even how food tastes to me. He also gaslights me like all the time. So I feel like I'm the jerk for feeling this way. And when I realized this, I began to see how horribly toxic our relationship is, and how badly it's affecting me. When I'm at work, I'm super positive, motivated, and happy. But when I'm at home, it's a 180. I'm angry, bitter, unmotivated, and irritated, and it all comes from the amount of bullcrap I've had to deal with from him for the past 4 years. Now going back to the title of my post. He found out about my raise from work, and now he expects me to move us both closer to my work. And he promises me when we move out, he'll find a job there. Honestly, I don't believe a word of that. He's had 4 years to get himself a job living here with his parents. How's he going to be any different just because we have our own place? Based on results, he's not going to change. And he won't because he's comfortable. He's complacent with me handling and paying for everything, doing everything for him. Because, well, I rewarded this behavior for so long. He just thinks it's okay. But I'm not okay with this. I hate this. So, even though he knows about my raise, my plan is still the same. I'm leaving him. I don't know when it'll happen, but I can feel it coming very soon. I can no longer hold these feelings inside of me. I can't deal with this bullcrap anymore. I'm on the verge of exploding. I'm also super scared of how different things will be. I don't want to hurt him, but I just can't take it anymore. I don't want to give up on the life we had together and the memories of all the things that we've done together. It sucks. I love this guy so much. I gave him everything, but ended up getting nothing back, and it breaks my heart. At the same time, he claims he's so in love with me that I'm the love of his life, but he watches me struggle and be unhappy and does nothing about it. So, I'm done. What's up, guys? Mr. Reddito here. That was a wild story, but let me just tell you, it gets even crazier because it's not over yet. There's an update for this story. Make sure you subscribe to the channel right now by clicking that subscribe button, as it's the best way to help support me, and we'll jump into the update right now. So, I posted this about 8 months ago, and I wanted to post an update because I'm currently making my moves to get out of this situation. And I want to do whatever I can to keep myself from chickening out. Long story short, my boyfriend is a literal man-child that's complacent with me supporting the both of us single-handedly. And I harbor a lot of resentment because we've been living like this for years, and he's had every excuse for why he's jobless. For the past few months, I've been casually looking at apartments, and every time I would select a few to go look at, he would mentally beat me down and I would chicken out. Then he would make me mad and I would start searching again. The cycle would continue. But it's gotten to the point where I can no longer stand to be around him. My behavior towards him has become incredibly toxic, and I hate that person that I've become. It's ducked up. The work has become my escape from this relationship. It's gotten to the point where I would rather stay at work as long as I possibly can, rather than going home around him. I'm not gonna lie. I've thought about cheating, and I've had opportunities. I'm ashamed that thoughts like that even crossed my mind. This is not the person I want to be. This isn't who I am. That's when it finally hit me that I really needed to go. I've always known this in the back of my mind, but I've never realized how much it was truly negatively affecting me until I started to lose my sense of integrity. I don't deserve to be this unhappy, and despite the fact that he's an entitled a-hole, he doesn't deserve the toxicity I've been giving him. I've realized that I've only been holding out not to spare his feelings, but to spare my own. I've been so afraid of dealing with the grief of guilt from leaving. I haven't been honest with him for years. It's incredibly selfish of me. I do care about him. He's been in my life for such a long time. I loved him with my entire heart and soul. I gave him so much of myself. I was convinced he was my soulmate. And it hurts to think that it has to end this way, but I seriously cannot take it anymore. I physically cannot take it anymore. So I started actually making my moves, and it's been super scary. But I've been pushing myself to keep going forward because I need this. I need this badly. I started out by narrowing my apartments to 2 to 3. I rented out a storage unit to slowly move my things into it. Then I lied to him and said I had to work on Saturday, when instead, I went out to tour apartments. I found a place I really liked in a nice neighborhood. I requested so many quotes because I would chicken out from filling out an application and picking out a move-in date. But then, I pushed myself to fill it out, and I was approved right away. And tonight, I read through the lease agreement and sign it. Next up is to pay the deposit and eventually move in. Dang, this is so scary. I'm worried I'll chicken out or he'll find out somehow and convince me to take him with me. I just keep picturing myself living in my own place, with my own furniture, not being obligated to anyone, having to buy food for them or drive them around elsewhere. Being able to do whatever I want in my time. Not having a long commute. It's so close, and I can't chicken out now. I deserve so much better than this. I deserve to not be treated like a maid, or a bank, or a doormat. And it's so close. I can't wait to have the life I've always wanted. Alright guys, Mr. Reddito here. Drop in the comment section down below if you think she's going to make the move or not. We're going to find out. Don't worry, I'm not leaving you on a cliffhanger. There's one final update. So, let's hop into that now. With that being said, I'm happy to report that I've successfully ended that relationship, and I'm living my best life at this very moment. I actually ended it back in March 25th to be exact, which was my move-in date for my apartment. It was actually super scary because my initial move-in date was April 17th, but the complex had to move it up because the current tenants decided to stay. So I either had to wait until mid-May or move earlier. It was the end of February, and I knew I would not be able to last until May. So I decided that it's just better to get it over with sooner rather than later, so I chose an earlier date. Luckily, at the time, Biden released another stimulus check around the time as well, which helped with the process. Especially since I received 2 checks because I claimed him as a dependent, which he obviously tried to argue that he deserved that money, but that wasn't happening. I also took 2 days off of work and told my boss about the situation. Luckily, I have the most wonderful, understanding boss in the world, and he encouraged me to stay strong and even offered me more days off if needed. It seemed like everything was on my side until my car was rear-ended the week I was moving out. I could not open my trunk at all, but I did not let that stop me. When the day came, I woke up a little early as if I was going to work, as usual, while he slept. As he slept, I slowly and quietly packed as much as I could into my car. I had to leave some things behind, so I knew I had to come back later. But I grabbed the most important things first and went to my apartment to set things up. He then calls me while I'm getting the money for my security deposit. He frantically asks me, what's going on? Where are your things? And that's when I just let it all out. I told him everything. He begged and cried for me, but I stood my ground. He asked if we can somehow work this out, but for the first time ever, I said no. After that phone call, I unpacked my car, blew up my air mattress, laid down and sobbed. I was both happy and sad that it was finally over. I felt bad for breaking his heart, and also incredibly sad for what's going to happen next. It was incredibly overwhelming. I agreed to talk about things in person with him. I still needed to get the rest of my stuff anyways, so I went back over to talk with him. Of course, he begged for me, cried for me, tried to negotiate with me, but I stood my ground. I told him that I'm done waiting, and I'm moving on. And luckily, we did end things amicably, and it seemed like it made him realize that he needs to change. I was pleasantly surprised where we were able to handle this in a civil manner, which never happened in our relationship. Then, he helped me pack the rest of my things in my car. I said goodbye to his family, which was incredibly heartbreaking. I loved his parents, and they were sad and disappointed, but they wished me good luck and invited me over for the holidays. After that, I drove back over to my apartment, and that was it. It was finally over. It was incredibly difficult those first few weeks. There were days I missed him, days where I hated him, but that was part of the process. But I made sure to surround myself with some pretty amazing people who have supported me all along the way. It's been 6 months since the breakup, and so much has happened within the first time frame, both good and bad. But after everything, I can honestly say this is the happiest I've ever been in my entire life so far. My birthday recently passed, and I compared how I felt now versus last year. I was so miserable, but now I feel so grateful and happy to finally have the life I've always wanted, while being surrounded by the most amazing friends I could ever ask for. And I know some may think it's too soon, but I've been seeing a guy who is absolutely wonderful. He's literally everything I've been wanting in a partner, but we're taking it slow. For now. My heart's so full and I'm so proud of myself. And I learned a very valuable lesson, which is to never settle for less than you deserve. Let me repeat that. Never settle for less than you deserve. As for my ex, he and I do catch up every month or so. He ended up finding a job almost immediately, and also got his driver's license and bought his mom's car. I'm a little salty that he did not have the sense of urgency when we were together, but you know what? I'm glad he's turning his life around. And I do wish him the best of luck in everything he wants to accomplish. Again, I want to thank everyone for all the support. I hope my experience can help those out there in similar situations. If you are, please do yourself a favor. Prioritize yourself and your happiness first. The only sad thing I have to say about this story is it sucks. It took OP this long to get out of that horrible relationship. Manipulative, lazy, all the words you can basically think of describe that relationship with so many red flags. Let's read one of the comments. It's a similar relation to this story. This is my brother-in-law. He's 40, no job, no friends. He lives in a room in his parents' built in their garage and receives an allowance to pay for his pot and video games because he's unbearable if he doesn't have both. He's told the rest of the family in complete seriousness that he intends to commit suicide when his parents die. It's so grim, but the in-laws just keep it going because he doesn't want to help and they don't want to kick him out. So nothing ever changes. They are so anti-conflict, it causes a problem. So guys, let me know your thoughts, and if you have any similar situations you would like to share, drop them in the comment section down below. Remember, if you go ahead and click that subscribe button, the reason it helps you so much is because later on there's updates that come out for these stories, so you don't want to miss those. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll catch you in the next one.